Welcome to Sport Talk on Enterprise TV, where sport news from the four corners of the world are delivered at its best. If you are joining us for the first time, please do well to follow us across all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. My name is John Olasikomi. You join me and let's ride together. What a day to be a Nigerian, and of course, what a day to be a sport journalist in this great nation. As we are still in the mood of celebration, we are still celebrating the Super Falcons of Nigeria. You know how we do it on Enterprise, on Sport Talk on Enterprise TV. We always start from the local football. You know what? A charity begins at home. Let's start with the Super Falcons. Nigeria's Super Falcons came from behind to secure a dramatic 3-2 victory over Morocco in a thrilling Women's African Cup of Nations clash played on Saturday. At some point after the Super Falcons of Nigeria were trailing by 2-0, it was like something was actually doing me inside. I didn't really get myself. But of course, joining me virtually today is Daniel Osegi, making a return to Sport Talk. Daniel, welcome to Sport Talk.
Good day, John. Thank you for having me on the show again. Feels good to be a Nigerian. I'm taking a cue from what you rightfully said. We're at the edges of our respective seats for the majority of Saturday, at least for over an hour. But thankfully, Esther Okoronkwo alongside teammates rallied around and ensure that Mission X was achieved.
All right, I love that. Mission X was achieved over the weekend, and all thanks to the young lady, 28 years old, Esther Okoronkwo. She did really well. She won the player of the match and the women's player of the match, and of course, overall player of the tournament went to our own fantastic captain. We call her Mommy Gio, Rashidat Ajibade. So, Daniel, what did the Super Falcons did? What did they do right in the second half?
Obviously what they just did is what every other good team will do when your backs are against the wall. It's obviously to come from, put it all on the line. You understand? You are 2-0 down after halftime. All you need to do is just to, all attack, try to get to score as many goals as you can, and yes, it's paid off eventually because the intensity brought about a penalty. Talking about how much they put into the attack, it brought about the opportunity for a penalty to be conceded or to be won, and eventually after that was achieved at 2-1, 64 minutes. And a lot of time being spent on VAR check. That means they knew they had at least another 30 minutes, to secure the victory. So they kept on pressing, and in little less than about 7 minutes, the second game goal came through, and at that point, they obviously knew that it was possible, and that was why they went for the kill, and it's all about the attacking intensity for me. Lots of pressing from anywhere up on the pitch that they found themselves. They ensured that they kept on pressing, and that was majorly what they had to do, and they went for it. That's what they did.
All right. Then let's go back to our discussion last week. That was on Friday. You remember when I said something about these Moroccan teams that they've conceded in all their games, except I think it was only in the quarterfinal that they didn't concede a goal. Because when we were trailing, I still have this belief that we will still score goals. But I was just thinking that maybe you definitely end up in a penalty shootout. But the ladies turned up in the second half, got 3 goals. And at some point, I know on social media, so many people were just rooting for Asisat Oshoala. Was Asisat Oshoala really the missing link? Because it was when she came in that we got the 3rd goal. Do you think if you had started Asisat Oshoala, maybe it wouldn't have been like that?
I wouldn't say so, but then again, the coach has threw her into the scheme of teams. I can't contest that anymore. But I think Asisat has proven that she may not be cut out for continental contests really, because a one goal return in this competition is poor. But let's also remember that she didn't start many of the games.
Yes.
Okay, so but that also goes to show that there's something wrong. It's either our fitness level is not up to scratch, but for how long will we be having a half-fit Oshola playing for the Super Falcons, right? Because in recent times it's been the same as old story. You understand, always coming in half-fit and all of that. That's no fault of hers. I mean, it's not like she deliberately inflicts pain on her, but if that is the case, it goes to show that she's really patriotic and probably understands the importance of playing at the international level, right? Because some other players at some point would have excused themselves from the national team because of issues like that. But after all being said, I think it's most of the credit has to go to Esther Okonkwo, trust me, and especially for the
don't even talk about.
Because
that's our new Agbabola, I really support that.
Because especially in a final like that, let's not forget that we have a certain Rashida Ajibade, who is the the official penalty taker, right?
Yes, of course.
It's not like Esther was going up for the top scorer award, because going into the match, both she and Rashidat were on one goal each. Chiwendu Ihezu was the top scoring Nigerian player,
yes,
right, with 3 goals in that, leading into that match. So my point is, for her to have been able to have the guts to step up, even when the skipper, when the skipper didn't. I think that's lots of courage and lots of guts that she's got there. So I think if there's one player that has to be singled out for the credit for the turnaround, the fortunes in the second half, it won't be the credit won't be given to Sister Oshola. It has to be Esther Okonkwo, because she scored the first goal and provided assists for the second and the third goal. So that's brilliant, and it's left a lot of fans of the competition, contesting Rashida Rajibade being named the player of the tournament, because if you put in such a performance in the most important game of the tournament, never before has it happened that a team comes from 2 goals behind to win this competition. You understand? And she had direct involvement in all 3. No 3 goals, then coupled with the fact that she has been great all through the competition, leading all up to this match. She had provided 4 assists in 5 games prior to this match. You understand? And like I rightfully said earlier, she had scored a goal. So many are already contesting that why wasn't she awarded? But we understand the basis of which Rashida got the award, because of obviously she had won the man of the match in
like 3 times.
60% of the matches that Nigeria had played previously. So, but like I said, if we're going to pinpoint one player, a standout performer last night, it definitely has to be Esther Okonkwo and not Asisat Oshola.
All right, should we stick with Justin Madugu to continue leading the Super Falcons of Nigeria?
You want to put me on
you already know my stand, Daniel, from day one. Since the day one of this.
That's my point. I know what you want. I know what you want to hear.
Okay.
I know what you want to hear. That's why I said, that's why I said you just want to put me. Maybe you want to see if I'm loyal. If I merit to the goodies that you're offering me, I think I mean, he's a championship winning manager at the end of the day. Nobody cares about, or let's say a lot of people don't care how you achieve your success. What success achieved is the question that will be asked. 20, 30, 50 years from now, we will know that the Super Falcons came from behind to win the title. Will so many people remember the playing pattern of the Super Falcons? I'm not so sure. Yes, I'm not so sure. Most people will just remember this team emerged champions, and they won it.
So many Chelsea fans will be grateful to what is his name, Di Matteo, for handling them their first Champions League.
First ever UEFA Champions League, you
First ever
understand?
UEFA
So
Champions League.
yeah, so and at the end of the day, I think his winning the championship is enough credit in the bank for him to retain his job. All right. Like you rightfully said, you are not very pleased with the performances of the ladies, and I mean, you can't sack 23 players. You only
Yes, of
sack
course.
one coach. When the result is not going well. So it's left for the NFF. That's the reason why they have the seats in the glass house. I don't get a penny from them, so I won't step into to decide the fate of the manager. All right, but I think, like I said, winning the championship eventually is enough credit in the bank. But the onus still lies on them to take the decision. I'm talking about those at the helm of that.
All right, still talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria, and of course, we are still in the mood of celebration. And let's go to the best 11 of the tournament. Four Super Falcons players made this. We have Rashida Ajibade, Esther Okoronkwo, and Michelle Alozie, and of course, the woman in between the stick for the Super Falcons of Nigeria, talking about Chiamaka Inadozie. And Ashley Plumpton didn't make this list. And of course, Damien. Our midfield don't even go there. I know that from day one, because that midfield, like I just say, I've said it before, that midfield lack creativity, which we all know, but I don't expect to see any of Nigerian players, I mean any of our Super Falcons players in that midfield. But talking about that defense line, no Ohale, no Damien, and no Ashley Plumpton. Do you agree with that defense line?
Yeah, a top talent anytime, any day. Also, Nassr Ohale has been there for like forever, and she keeps on delivering. She's currently 32 or 33 years of age right now. You understand, and she's been delivering for the national team for so long. It's quite disappointing, like you rightfully said. That the 33-year-old Ohale and Tosin Dimei couldn't make this squad. Especially judging by the fact that Nigeria didn't concede a goal until the semi-finals of the competition. Yeah, so it's really surprising. Okay, but we don't have we're not on the panel, right? The technical committee, but I think it's what's raising question marks, because I think the basis why Chiamaka made this list was because of the clean sheets and a couple of saves here and there, but majorly because of the clean sheets. So. And a clean sheet is a team effort. It's not only about the goalkeeper. Of course. If you have a good defense, a goalkeeper is as good as his defenders, or our defenders in this case, really. Because if you have a leaky defense, there's no way, no matter how fantastic you are, you get beaten at some point. So I think at least one of our centre halves should have made it. Like you said, the midfielders, nothing to write home about. You understand? So it's not a surprise at all. Rashida Ajibade and Esther Okoronkwo making it. And Chiamaka Inadozie was the goalkeeper of the tournament, Rashida's player of the tournament, so it's expected that they make the team. Like we said, Esther Okoronkwo had the most assists at the competition, 6 assists. It was a no-brainer. She had to be there. Michelle Alozie, the sweetheart of the Super Falcons, obviously,
yes,
always putting the shifts. You understand, but I mean, at the end of the day, Ashley Plumpton had the disastrous final, on Saturday. So if she had any chance of making that team, that must have blew it. Although in most cases, these teams would have been ready even before the final.
Yes, of course.
So whatever the outcome is,
I think that's the main reason why Rashida won the player of the tournament. Before the final, it has been decided before the final.
Exactly. So I think it's fair enough also to have 4 players. Could have been better to have, say, 5 or 6. But I mean, 4 is more than 1/3 of the entire team, so it's fine. All
right. Once again, congratulations to the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Away from the camp of the Super Falcons, let's move straight to a CAF Interclub competition. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has announced the date for the draw of the 2025-2026 Interclub competitions. Remo Stars and Rivers United will fly Nigeria's flag in the CAF Champions League, while Abia Warriors and Kwara United are set to compete in the CAF Confederations Cup. Now, Daniel, my own challenge with all our representatives is simple. Now, we are the draw will be made in the mid-August. They have to submit every team that will definitely be participating in this competition by July 31st, no doubt about that. But what have they been doing? How many friendly matches have they played? They are not even doing, even in Europe, England, you can see the like of Manchester United, Chelsea just finished World Club. You can see Barcelona, they've been on tour during this pre-season. So what have they been doing? Talking about Rivers United, Remo Stars, Kwara United. So you now go there and, fail. It's as simple as that. So that's my own major concern. This competition will definitely be on by September. And now take a look at our clubs. So I don't know if you have any contrary opinion with that, because I've said it before and I will say it again. If you don't prepare well, you will definitely fail. It's as simple as that. So I don't know how they will do it.
Well, I think it's rather unfortunate because this has been a recurring thing with the representatives of the Nigerian teams on the continent. However, we're able to align the calendar that we've been trying to align all along for a very long time, talking about ensuring that the season commences in August and concludes in May. This year, the NPFL season was concluded in May, so it's expected that the new season is going to
reports, they will definitely resume by August 22nd. But you know how it works in MPFL. they will just come up with another thing. It has been postponed by 2 weeks, like that. So we are used to it.
So I think we have to give Davison Oumi and his team, the benefit of the doubt this time around, because at least they were able to accomplish concluding the season in May. That's something that has been impossible to achieve for many years now, about a decade or so. So let's see how it goes. I understand, there's precedents, like you said. It's always been a case of being postponed by a week, sometimes being postponed by sometimes we've experienced not just one postponement, but multiple postponements, right? But if the league can commence in August, I think it was still quite on track as compared to previous years, right? So it's now left for these teams to start engaging in preseason games. Yes, I think they should start engaging in preseason games right now, because if not, like you said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? They have to engage in top quality preseason game, not them going to play against youth teams across the nation. No, they have to play top tier opposition from
a team from Algeria, a team from Morocco, a team
go continental. Because if the league indeed commences on the 22nd of August, that means they'll have 4 weeks before the preliminary rounds will commence in the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup. So why not? I think with that's enough. That's pretty much enough competitive football to usher them into the campaign. Let's not forget, the major leagues in Europe also commence in August, and the UEFA Champions League commences in September, usually after 3 or 4 weeks into the commencement of the new season. So it's pretty much the same standards being set here. So I don't think there's margin for error, and there's no room for excuses this time around. They should start preparation now. 22nd of August is barely 4 weeks from now. So if they start preseason, I think any serious team should have resumed preseason at least 2 weeks prior to this time, right? So if they have, then it's enough time really for them to get battle ready for representing rather the country on the continent.
All right, let's see how it goes. I just want to wish them well. Rivers United, Remo Stars, and co. Away from our local football, let's move straight to foreign football. We'll definitely be starting with Euros 2025. Chloe Kelly converted the decisive kick as England beat Spain 3-1 on penalties to lift the Women's Euro 2025 trophy after Sunday's game had finished 1-1 at the end of extra time, allowing the Lionesses to avenge their defeat in the World Cup final 2 years ago and retain their continental crown. How did you feel, Daniel Osegi? How did you feel about, about that match between England and, of course, Spain?
I predicted that. I think it will only be fair for England to get revenge over Spain for defeat, for losing to them in the finals of the FIFA Women's World Cup. The last time out, right? And I'm just happy for these English Lionesses because if you take a look at it, back to back UEFA, European Women's Championship winners now, finals of the World Cup. So the last three major competitions they've featured in, they've made it to at least the finals. Right? And in between, there's also the little case of the finalissima where they defeated Brazil in 2023. After I think 1-0, they went on to win Brazil 4-2 on penalties. Right? It goes to show that this team, first of all, are very good on penalties. Remember, they defeated the Super Falcons, the round of 16 at the World Cup on penalty. All right, so it's a good one. Serena Wigman continues to prove that she's the dawn when it comes to women's football. You understand? Now she has won this Euros three consecutive times. Because in 2017, she was the coach of the Dutch national team when they won the Euros. Joined England, won the Euros in 2022 for the 2021 edition, and now retained it again. So that's some record there. I don't think any man or woman can match winning a competition as massive as that. 3 years on the bounce with three editions on the bounce with two different national teams. I think that's incredible. And even with the women's club game side of the game, you know how many times that Barcelona Feminine have eliminated Chelsea women's team when it comes to semi-finals of the UEFA Women's Champions League, as well as defeated them in the final in 2021 as well. Got so good, the Arsenal ladies also got the better of them this time around. And so I think what has been working for Barcelona has been the fact that, and that's what has been working for the Spanish national team, is that a core of their team is made up of the Barcelona team that has been dominating club football in Europe.
Yes,
right? Because with England, the same team that has been that haunted the golden generation of the Three Lions, where players play for rival clubs, have been the issue. But now they've come together as a team. Sam brought the best out of themselves, and it's just a result of how good the English football has grown. And I just wish they can get to win the World Cup sometime soon. So kudos to the English team. He came back all the way from the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and now the finals, coming back to win. It goes to shine stuff of champions, shows how resilient they can, persistent they can be, and they can only get better from here.
All right, once again, congratulations to the English national team, talking about the female football. They won the Euros 2025 against the world champions, talking about Spain. Away from Euros, let's move straight to transfer. Nassr have agreed a £43.7 million deal to sign Chelsea forward, talking about Felix. The figure is made up of an initial £26.2 million fee and 17.5 million pounds in potential add-ons. Daniel Osegi, this is a lad that moved all the way from Benfica to Atletico Madrid in 2019. He moved for £113 million, if I'm not mistaken. And now, after 5-6 years, he'll be playing his trade in Saudi Arabia. At Nassr, he will definitely be playing alongside Cristiano Ronaldo, a 40-year-old man. What happened to Felix? Did he make a wrong move? What really happened to him, Daniel Osegi? Because I feel so, I feel so bad for the young
man. Felix hasn't found a home in a very long time now. He's been moving here and there, and I think we have to understand that. Trust me, the lack of stability, you understand, when it comes to a team, being a player playing consistently for a team, it's a big problem. You understand, and I think if we look at the fact that Chelsea have not even made profit on him, just like what's it called? Atletico Madrid made a massive loss on him. He was signed for
113 million
a
pounds at just 19.
yes,
So
yes.
many, so many
Still,
players
I
were
think
just looking up to him. You know.
yeah, only Kylian Mbappe's move to Paris Saint-Germain has cost any club more for a teenager.
Hmm. That's
Chelsea
serious.
had to pay 52 million euros.
Hmm.
There's also the possibility of 5 million, and Conor Gallagher, was also involved in that deal. So the only reason why Chelsea would have said that they made some decent money is because they sold a homegrown Conor Gallagher for 42 million euros. So if you do your maths, it's like a swap deal with the 10 million euros being topped up, right? So Chelsea have been doing good business of recent. But like I said, back to the subject matter, Joao Felix has not had a home. He played at Atletico Madrid for I think 3.5 seasons on the stretch. But his terrible relationship with Diego Simeone, he led ensured that he would never have a good time, at Atletico Madrid, especially towards the tail end. He moved to Chelsea on loan for 6 months. Eventually went to Barcelona on a 1-year loan. Had to come back to Chelsea, and all of that.
For a player with that great talent.
You understand? Played for 6 months again. He has never even played. He has played for Chelsea twice, once on loan and once as a signing. But he has never played for Chelsea for more than 6 months. That's how bad it is for a player who has been signed by that same club on 2 different spells. I think it's ridiculous. And I going to Saudi Arabia at this age, like you said, he's only 25 years of age. You understand? Even Victor Osimhen, who is a year older than him, has refused to go to Saudi yet. So for a player of that magnitude to be going to Saudi, I think it's a very 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 concerning one, because at the end of this, he's going to be making a lot of money over there. Trust me, the Saudi Arabians know how to give their employees good pay packages. So and he's going to be playing alongside the greatest player from his country, talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. So it might not be all doom and gloom at the end of the day. Let him have 1-2 fantastic years there. Like you said, he's a good player. I don't know if he's ever going to be a great player, but he's a good player, obviously, commanding those kind of fees that he has commanded during his career. I mean, now he has cost different teams over 230 million euros over the course of his career. That's some crazy money. So I just hope he can do 1 or 2 years for his own sake and for his finances. Do 2 years in Saudi, because if you play for 2 years in Saudi, then you won't get to pay taxes throughout your stay. So if you do 2 years in Saudi tax free, you can still come back to Europe at 27 and still sign a lucrative contract and play for a top team.
Okay. All right, let's see how it goes. All I can say is I wish him well. Of course, best of luck to the lad. Talking about you are Felix, another fantastic footballer. All right, away from foreign football, let's move straight to other sports. In the world of basketball, AfroBasket 2025, Nigeria's senior women's basketball team, the Tigers, will look to build on their dominant opening performance when they take on Mozambique in the second Group D fixture of the 2025 FIBA Women's AfroBasket tournament in Abidjan today. And of course, I think when it comes to basketball in Africa now, no country come close to the Tigers against Rwanda. The one that won 92-45. That's crazy. Times 2. And of course, Mozambique also defeated Rwanda 72-55. And Nigeria versus Mozambique, take a look at head-to-head. They played like 8 times. And Nigeria won everything. And today, they will be playing against Mozambique. What are your thoughts on Nigeria, the Tigers versus Mozambique? Daniel.
Like you rightfully said, 92-45, that's a blowout, obviously, in basketball. And fantastic, outing from the Tigers. Now they are in some, I don't know, the zone that they've been over the past decade in Africa has been something else. The victory over, Rwanda marked the 25th win in a row in this particular tournament for the Tigers. They've not lost since October 2025.
That's crazy.
All right, and that's massive, baby.
I don't even talk about.
I think we had some very, very good performers on the night. Talking about Elizabeth Balogun, really dominated on court against Rwanda. 18 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. You understand? Victoria McCauley was also fantastic. Bringing
another veteran,
all the goodies from. You understand? Bringing all the goodies from Turkey. You understand? Also posted 13 points and 5 assists in that encounter. And I think Renda Wakama has done so much, since he came into the picture with the Tigress. The team has just been on an upward trajectory. We saw how they performed at the Olympics last year. Massive performance by the ladies, shook the world. You understand? Defeated.
Don't you think, Daniel, don't you think we need another Arena Wakama for the Falcons of Nigeria? But go ahead.
At this point in time, I'm sure, just saying, Madugu, obviously I must have snatched one of the most beautiful girls you've had in your life. Really, but then again, it's not out of place for us to have a women's coach for the women's game, right? We talked about the women's Euros where I mentioned Serena Williams doing fantastically well.
How she led the Netherlands to Euros
Championship. So who says we can't have another Florence Omagbemi who won the championship with the same Super Falcons in the past? You understand? But back to the Tigers, I think it's going to be an interesting tie, but you can't look beyond the Tigers ceiling victory against Mozambique. It's almost impossible for us to have a situation like that. And they know that once they can win this second match, they would have sealed qualification for the next round. So why wait? Why wait to feature in all games? That's what champions do. They win, their first 2 openers, and the starters in the team can have some squad rotation, have enough rest in the final group fixture.
All right, can you give us your score line? 80 to 50, or something very close.
You know more about the women than I do, so I will just stick to your own suggestion.
Come on. Well, it is what it is. All right, I thank you for that one, Daniel Ozege. That's how much we can take on Sports on Enterprise TV 7. Endeavor to subscribe and click the notification bell to get notified of all alerts. Follow us across our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. Like, share, and engage on our content. Visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com for all the news you can use, the inclusives, and the live updates. Daniel Ozege has been great on the show today.
Many thanks for having me. Mondays are supposed to be for the men, man crush Monday and the likes, but it turned out that the women came to crush the Monday and took over, and but it's okay, it's their season, so we have to give it up for them. And many thanks for having me. Like I said prior, I'm absolutely happy that the Super Falcons could make it possible, even when it looked as though all hope was lost. Shout out to all the Nigerian women, worldwide, for ensuring that they are well represented in Morocco. And I look forward to featuring on the program sometime soon again.
All right, my name remains John Olasukomi. See you next time.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.